during a time of war, according to the halakha, everyone is obligated, everyone who's of proper age, is obligated to step up to defend the country. If it's a Milchemet Reshut, there's three stipulations, three exceptions in the Torah. One of them is, Mi ha'ish asher eras isha belo lekahaha yelech beyashov lebeto pen yamut b'milchama v'ish acher yikachena. According to halakha, if somebody got engaged, erusin in Jewish law, and he didn't consummate the marriage, he's allowed to go back. Why? It's a war. Because the Torah considers one of the most important projects, one of the most important accomplishments that a person can accomplish in his life is lehakim bayit ne'eman be'Yisrael, to establish a family, bayit, a house, that is loyal to the values of Israel. Lehakim bayit ne'eman be'Yisrael. The Menocha, together with the Manoach, her husband Yitzchak ben Shoshana, the Menocha, Mira Bajuli, Hekima Bayit Ne'eman Be'Yisrael. Her children are all loyal to the values of Israel, to the Torah, to the Mitzvot. Her grandchildren are loyal to the Torah, the Mitzvot. She has children, she has grandchildren, she even has great-grandchildren living today in Eretz Yisrael. She was born in Syria. Her father, Dibo Dwek HaKohen Alav Shalom, he was a Sadiq. He used to help smuggle Jews from Syria to Eretz Yisrael, risking his life, risking the lives of his family. And I just on a personal note, if I may, I'm going to interject here. I remember when we first got married, we used to visit Dibo Dwek Alav Shalom and Savta Julie, Leah Shalom. We used to visit them Sundays, and I used to come with me Gemariyot, studying Torah, because that's what I do on Sundays, I study Torah. And I remember he used to see me studying, and he used to love it. He used to bring himself. I didn't even realize it. Like he was so happy, like his granddaughter married someone who's studying Torah, and Mamash brought him. So later on, they told me that he used to walk around with the book. He was always studying. He never had a situation where he wasn't studying. So he was not only a Sadiq, Ishrat Pe'alim, that he did things on behalf of the Jewish people, but apparently he used to study Torah and was I would even say, a Talmid Chacham. So he risked his life, and eventually the Syrian government found out. They had to run away. The family had to run away, and they ran away from Syria, and they got to Lebanon. In Lebanon, Mira became a lover of God's world. They call it nature. I just say God's world. And she used to go hiking in the mountains. She used to see beautiful things. Harei HaLebanon, Arzei HaLebanon. She used to tell my children about the cedars of Lebanon, about what it's like to pick fresh fruit from the tree, the taste of the fruit when it just comes off the trees. Later on, she left Lebanon. She came to Eretz Yisrael. She met Alav Shalom, Yitzchak ben Shoshana, Dur, her husband, and eventually they ended up in Brooklyn. And even though Brooklyn is an average place, Mira was anything but average. And I want you to understand what made her special. And here it is. So we've been reading about the Mishkan. Over the last 2 weeks, we've been reading about the Mishkan. We're going to continue reading about the Mishkan. And this is the most important national project, probably, I would say, in the history of Israel, to build a Mishkan. Right? What is a Mishkan? So the Mishkan is a building where God will dwell His presence, the Shekhinah. Is there anything more important than the Beit HaMikdash? The Beit HaMikdash is a continuation of the Mishkan. And there's something strange. It was optional, meaning it wasn't obligatory to participate in the donations for the construction of the Mishkan. Me'ed kol ish Anybody who wants to, we're looking for gold. You want to get gold? Well, you don't want to give, no problem. We'll go to him. You want to give gold? Kesef, Zahab, Kesef, Murchoshet, Techelet, Al-Gaman, Kolat, Shani. Optional. Why? It should be obligatory. This is it. This is a great project. I think another reason. There's a pasuk in Shir HaShirim. We read it every Friday night. It goes as follows. Apirion asalo hamelech Shlomo. Shlomo HaMelech built this beautiful apirion. What does apirion mean? A chuppah, a mini palace. He built this little palace or this little chuppah from the wood coming from the cedars of Lebanon. Of course, this is referring to the Beit HaMikdash, right? Shlomo HaMelech used to bring the Arzeh al-Lebanon from Lebanon to the Beit HaMikdash, to Yerushalayim, and that's where he built the Beit HaMikdash. Amudam asa chesed, the pillars were silver. Refidato, the cover, zahav. Merkavo, the chariot, agaman is like a purple colored cloth. Tochor asuf ahavan, the inside there's a love, Benot Yerushalayim, the love of the daughters of Jerusalem. That's a pasuk. That's what we read every Friday night. What does that mean? So first of all, it's referring to the Beit HaMikdash. The Chachamim say, Amudav asa chesed, this is the silver, the adanim that are from kesed, that holds up the pillars. The Filato Zahav, that refers to the cover of the Aron HaKodesh, the kaporet, which was with gold. Merkavo al-Gaman, that refers to the parochet, the curtain dividing the Kodesh from the Kodesh HaKodashim. But here is the puzzling part. The inside was filled with the love of the daughters of Jerusalem. What does that mean? Okay, so different perushim. Seforno, Ovadia ben Yaakov Seforno, was a Chacham from Italy, 15th century. He says, this refers to the fact that if you enter the Hechal, which only a Kohen could do, obviously, there would be images of Malachim on the walls of the Hechal. So he says, Tochor asuf ahava mi benot Yerushalayim means that you saw the love of God towards the daughters of Jerusalem, towards the Jewish people, because this symbolizes special malachim that God sends to protect Am Yisrael. Beautiful perush. There's something though. Does it say Tochor asuf ahava lebenot Yerushalayim? Love towards, or mi benot Yerushalayim, from mi benot Yerushalayim. So what's the love of benot Yerushalayim towards God? And I think the answer is me'et kol ish asher yidebenu libo. Does God need our silver? Does God want our gold? Does God want our special jewels, sapphire, emerald, rubies? Does God want this? You know what God wants? God wants the love of Benot Yerushalayim. The pasuk says, "Ve'ahavta et Adonai Elohecha b'chol levavecha u'b'chol nafshecha u'b'chol me'odecha." God doesn't need our gold. We love gold. And God says, look, I'm not going to force you to give me gold. I want you to love me. I want you to give me the gold because of that love. And you know what happened? There were so many people coming with gold, with silver. And the pasuk says, there were so many women coming with their precious objects they wanted to give to the Mishkan. Tocho rasuf ahava benot Yerushalayim. The Beit HaMikdash was beautiful. It had the most precious stones, the most precious walls, the most precious material. Pure gold all over the place. You know what the most precious thing was? Tocho rasuf ahava. It was filled with the love of the Jewish people towards Kuchaberichu, towards God. We didn't have to donate, but we loved God and we wanted to donate. Tocho rasuf ahava. Mi benot Yerushalayim. That special love, that special Shekhinah. Bayit. Bet Hamikdash. The Bayit. But we also have another Bayit. Bet Yaakov. And who's the head of Bet Yaakov, the family? Chochmot Nashim Banekabeta. This is the woman. This is the Eshet Chayim. The woman that has Yirat Shamayim, Satkaniyot. And when you enter the house of these Nashim Satkaniyot, you feel the nitzot of Kedusha. And when you enter the house of the Menocha, Mira, Bajuli, Alea, Hashalom, you felt that special love. You felt that special Shekhinah would make the house beautiful. It was not the furniture, it was not the walls, it was not the material. It was a special love of Mira, Alea, Hashalom, for her children, for her grandchildren, for her great-grandchildren. That special Kedusha is what made her. And what makes our memories remember her as a special person, as an Eshet Chayil. And I want to end with one thing. There's actually a pasuk in Perashat Vayakel when it says that the woman really wanted to give to the Mishkan. And it says, Bemarot hasobeot. One of the things that women came with is that they had their mirrors. Mirrors made out of copper. And copper, they needed copper. And copper was precious. It wasn't like, today everybody has a mirror. So what? Back then, to have a mirror was like, who had a mirror? You're a rich person. You have a mirror made out of copper. This is how you make yourself beautiful. You look at yourself. They gave the mirrors because it was made out of nechoshet. They gave it to the Mishkan. And in the word marot, we have the word Mira. Mira is part of marot because she was one of these beautiful women who cared more about serving HaKadosh Baruch Hu, raising a family with Yirat Shamayim, raising a family that is stuck to the traditions of our fathers, the traditions of Halal, the traditions of our Chachamim. This is what made her a special person. And it was a privilege to have her in my house, to have her teaching my children, to have her teaching her grandchildren. Teheh nishmata serura b'srol ha'chaim. Amen. Ken yeh ratzon.